Have you ever walked through a forest and suddenly found what looked like a perfect snake lying completely still on the ground? That's exactly what happened to Kian. But when he shouted, "There's a dead snake!" his friends ran closer. And then something unbelievable happened. The dead snake moved. Except it wasn't a snake at all. It was the snake's old skin. Deep beside the beautiful Greenleaf Valley stood a huge forest filled with tall trees, sparkling streams, colorful flowers, and mysterious hidden paths. 3 young boys loved exploring that forest. There was Kian, the curious one, who always asked questions. There was Zayd, the brave one, who was never afraid of adventure. And there was Toby, the funny one, who could turn almost anything into a joke. One bright morning, the boys followed Mr. Arlo along an old forest trail. Suddenly, "Wait!" Kian froze. Everyone stopped. Beside a tree lay a long, pale, transparent object. It looked exactly like a snake. Zayd slowly stepped backward. "Is that a snake?" Kian froze. Everyone stopped. Beside a tree lay a long, pale, transparent object. It looked exactly like a snake. Zayd slowly stepped backward. "Is that a snake?" Toby whispered. "Maybe it forgot how to move." Kian carefully looked at it. "But why isn't it breathing?" Mr. Arlo smiled. "Because, boys," he pointed toward the strange object. "That's not a snake." The boys stared at him. "Then what is it?" Mr. Arlo smiled. "It's a snake's old skin." The boys' eyes widened. "A snake's skin?" Kian picked up a small stick and gently moved the skin. It was incredibly light, and strangely, it looked almost exactly like a snake. "You mean the snake just climbed out of this?" "Exactly," said Mr. Arlo. "But why?" Kian asked. Before Mr. Arlo could answer, Zayd suddenly pointed toward a bush. "Look! Something moved." A young snake slowly crawled out from beneath a fallen log. Its body was covered in beautiful scales, but something looked different. Its skin seemed dull. Its eyes looked cloudy. Toby whispered, "Is it sick?" Mr. Arlo shook his head. "No, it's getting ready for something very important." "What?" "It's getting ready to shed." The boys followed the snake from a safe distance. Mr. Arlo explained, "A snake's body grows throughout its life, but its outer layer of skin cannot simply stretch forever." Kian immediately understood. "So the snake needs a bigger skin?" "That's right. The snake grows a new layer of skin underneath the old one." Zayd looked amazed. "So it makes a new skin before getting rid of the old one?" "Exactly." Toby looked at his own shirt. "Can I do that with my clothes?" Everyone laughed. Mr. Arlo smiled. "Unfortunately, Toby, you'll have to keep buying bigger clothes." The boys decided to give the young snake a name. Toby suggested, "Sir Slithers." Zayd laughed. But Kian had a better idea. "Suki." And from that moment, they called the young snake Suki. Suki slowly crawled toward an old tree. Her body looked duller than before. Mr. Arlo explained that this can happen before shedding. Sometimes a snake's eyes become cloudy because the old outer layer is separating from the new layer underneath. Kian whispered, "So Suki is basically wearing an old suit that's becoming too tight. That's a great way to think about it, said Mr. Arlo. Suki found a rough tree branch. She pressed her head against it. Then she slowly moved forward. Shrap! Her old skin began to loosen. The boys watched silently. Suki pushed forward again. Slowly, carefully, the old skin began sliding backward along her body. Toby's mouth dropped open. It's coming off. Suki continued crawling. Her old skin peeled away as she moved, and finally, Suki completely crawled out. Behind her lay a long, empty, snake-shaped skin. The boys stared in amazement. Kian shouted, "She didn't disappear. She grew." Mr. Arlo smiled. Mr. Arlo pointed toward the old skin. This process is called shedding, or ecdysis. He explained that snakes are covered with scales made from a tough material called keratin. As the snake grows, the old outer layer becomes too small. A new layer develops underneath it. The old layer then separates. The snake may rub against rocks, branches, logs, or other rough surfaces to help loosen it. Then it crawls out of the old skin. And that's why we sometimes find an empty snake skin in the forest. Kian looked at the skin again. So, snakes aren't changing their whole body. No, said Mr. Arlo. Only the old outer layer is being shed. Mr. Arlo pointed toward the old skin. This process is called shedding, or ecdysis. He explained that snakes are covered with scales made from a tough material called keratin. As the snake grows, the old outer layer becomes too small. A new layer develops underneath it. The old layer then separates. The snake may rub against rocks, branches, logs, or other rough surfaces to help loosen it. Then it crawls out of the old skin. And that's why we sometimes find an empty snake skin in the forest. Kian looked at the skin again. So, snakes aren't changing their whole body. No, said Mr. Arlo. Only the old outer layer is being shed. And I get older. He looked at his arms. Am I going to shed my skin too? Zayd laughed. Mr. Arlo chuckled. Humans do replace old skin cells, but we don't normally shed our entire outer skin in one piece like snakes. Toby sighed with relief. Good. I was worried I'd leave my skin outside my classroom. Everyone burst into laughter. Suddenly, the sky became dark. A strong wind rushed through the forest. Suki's old skin lifted from the ground. It flew toward a nearby stream. "Oh no!" shouted Kian. The boys carefully moved toward the edge of the stream. The old skin landed near the water. Zayd used a long fallen branch to pull it away from the current. They rescued it from being swept downstream. Mr. Arlo smiled. Good teamwork. Kian looked at the strange skin. It looks exactly like Suki. That's because it was once TH. The storm passed. Golden sunlight appeared between the trees. Suki, now looking brighter and fresher, slowly moved through the grass. The boys watched her disappear into the forest. Kian smiled. This morning, I thought that skin was something scary. Mr. Arlo nodded. Sometimes nature looks mysterious, simply because we don't understand it. Zayd added, and when we learn about it, the mystery becomes amazing. Toby pointed toward the forest. And sometimes, the mystery has scales. Everyone laughed. Suki disappeared behind the trees. The boys waved goodbye. Snakes don't shed their skin because they're dirty. They shed because they're growing. Their old outer layer becomes too tight. A new layer develops underneath, and the snake eventually crawls out of the old one. It's one of nature's most fascinating ways of growing and renewing. The body